Hi, welcome back to Christmas. I'm the North Pole, and this is Santa. While every other commentary YouTuber is making their Christmas movie review about a movie that isn't very good, I want to try something different. I'm going to talk about two Christmas movies that are not very good. The first one is called A Husband for Christmas, and here's the little synopsis of the movie. Two co-workers agree to a loveless marriage of convenience, but as they become acquainted, an unrealized chemistry grows between them. Wrath on the world. And, while that last sentence may not make sense to you now, it doesn't make sense to me either, and I've seen the movie twice. The biggest issue this movie suffers from is just a lack of a budget. They've got a low-budget Christmas party, a low-budget Photoshop of the two leads together, even though they're supposed to both be professional graphic designers, but this is the best they could come up with to try and trick the federal government, and a low-budget Santa who looks kind of like a white version of Tito from Rocket Power. My favorite scene from this one has to be the entire last 10 minutes of the movie. Their loveless marriage of convenience is really more of a green card marriage of employment, and so federal agents come to their house because that's not allowed. Earlier on in the movie, the agents visited, but the husband wasn't there. So now they're back to interview the couple and see if they really are in love. So here are the three pictures that two professional graphic designers came up with to try and convince these agents that they're in love and that they've known each other for a while. We've got them dressed for a business meeting in the woods, Brooke dressed in the same clothes on a boardwalk. That one really could be anywhere. And lastly, we've got them dressed for completely opposite weather scenarios in the middle of the ocean. They could be on a raft, but they say that they're on a singles cruise, and even I know that's not true. And if you can't trick me, how are you gonna trick the whole government? So the agents interview them, and they get all sappy and romantic, and they realize that they do truly have feelings for each other, but the agents still catch them.
Photoshopping is very impressive. It is your line of work, right? Well, this is ours.
We've been doing this a long time.
Anything that she's done, she did it for me.
No, you don't have to do this.
No, I do. Brooke is the sweetest, smartest, most selfless woman I have ever met. And I don't want her to get in any trouble.
She's in very big trouble, Roger.
This just sounds like the guy is talking to his kid. Oh yes, you're in very big trouble now. You just committed a felony. That means you have to go into timeout and no Nintendo for a week.
I'll leave today.
No.
Yes, you will.
So they take him to the airport and they're just gonna deport him that day. And while Brooke contemplates whether or not to chase after her newly incarcerated husband, we get a montage of all their best moments, like when they sat together, and when they walked together, and when they stood together. This one is from the beginning of the movie, when they're complete strangers at a corporate party. So she goes to work to start packing her stuff because she knows the jig is up, and her boss comes in and is like, "Go after that man I forced you to enter an unlawful marriage with so you wouldn't lose your job." And so she does. They take Roger through regular-ass airport security to put him on a plane home when Brooke bursts through the doors and runs through airport security. And then her family comes and they run past airport security. So Roger proposes and Brooke says yes, so now they're engaged. And the federal agents are like, well, I guess they really do love each other. Their marriage is valid now. And then they sing the worst rendition of Jingle Bells I've heard in a long time.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. On the fields we go, laughing all the way. Ho, 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 the bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Hey, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
movie ends. Why does the family run from the side that's past security back around to go through security, and then they're on the same side they were to begin with? That's A Husband for Christmas. It's not great, but again, they probably made the movie with like $120. A Bride for Christmas, which really completes this double feature, is a Hallmark original, which means that they did have some sort of a budget. Not a big one, as exemplified by the opening credits being written in the most default of fonts, but a budget's a budget, no matter how small. We open on our main character, Jessie's bridal shower. Her sister slash roommate slash business partner, Vivian, gives her a snow globe.
What are sisters slash roommates slash business partners for, huh?
With her and her fiance's faces in it to commemorate their first Christmas together. We learn that this is the third time Jessie has been engaged, and so her sister jokes that this time she'll finally go through and get married. So we head to the wedding, and Mike, the groom, does a cool fist bump, and Jessie walks down the aisle and keeps walking and leaves the church. She's out of there. She heads home and dives right into some work. She and Vivian talk about how she's broken
Not one, not two, but three. 3 engagements. Oh, I should have never said yes in the first place.
Probably.
Viv, he asked me to marry him in front of 50,000 basketball fans. Did you want me to break his heart on a 100-foot Jumbotron?
How dare you tell me I shouldn't have said yes? You literally said it yourself. Well, I'm allowed to. I was the one forcing myself to get married, not you. Okay. I was just agreeing with you to let you know that I'm here for you. Oh, so now it's all about you, huh? Oh, look at me. I'm Vivian. I agree with people who are grieving. Fuck you! Jessie decides that since she can't seem to get married to anyone, she's just gonna stop getting engaged to people. And she's also gonna stop dating people and just seeing people in general. Meanwhile, we meet our leading man, Aidan McTiernan, a man with a name so Irish I can't even pronounce it without the bad accent. He's playing poker with his buddies, and oh look, he gets lucky. Because he's Irish. And so he talks about how he tends to get lucky, and his friend Matt goes, yeah, well, not with women.
Easy, McTiernan, you're not that lucky all the time.
You sure about that? Or you forget about that money that I took from you last week with my full house?
Oh, I'm not talking about cards.
Well, what are you talking about then?
Women.
Aidan McTiernan is the only truly single one of the group. 2 of them are married, and Matt is in the process of divorcing.
Okay, look, all I'm saying is, doesn't matter if you meet the one or not. She would never marry you anyway.
What makes you say that?
Well, you're not marriage material.
What?
You're the guy that girls date before they get married. You know, the fun guy.
It's not true. I am fun.
Aidan, you got commitment phobe written all over you, buddy. Girls can smell that a mile away.
Matt's stone fucking cold. And so they do this thing that I've never seen in any movie or musical or anything before. They make a bet that Aidan McTiernan can't get a girl to agree to marry him before Christmas. And that's just 4 weeks away.
What, you don't think you can do it? I mean, you've never run away from a bet before.
No, it's crazy because Christmas is just 4 weeks away.
And the wager? They're betting their cubicles in the office they work at.
I'll do it.
Beg your pardon?
But I have to choose the girl.
I just kind of assumed they were going to let him choose whoever he wanted to propose to. Imagine if his buddies were like, no, actually, we get to pick who you're going to have to propose to. So we're going to pick someone who's totally incompatible with you in every way, and someone who's married, so you got a home wreck real quick, and someone who's also just a lesbian. So that's the setup. Newly commitment-phobic woman and perpetually commitment-phobic man are going to meet up and fall in love. But how? And where? We'll find out after Jessie tries to give her engagement ring back to Mike. He tells her to keep it because he thinks that she's still going to marry him.
Keep it. You never know. Maybe with a little time, you'll change your mind.
No, I've definitely thought about it, and that's why I'm trying to give the ring back to you. But he insists that Jessie holds on to it, so she does. Okay, so now we're gonna get to see them meet for the first time. Oh, Okay, so we see Aiden McTiernan as a busy businessman who works in finance. Matt comes by to see if he's found the girl that he's going to propose to in the past, I don't know, 12 hours. And Aiden's like, no.
What about, Veronica?
But the vegan? She eats seeds for lunch. Where am I going to take her for dinner date?
If there's one thing Aiden McTiernan needs in a woman, it's red meat. The two guys are going to an art exhibit that night, and that'll be Aiden McTiernan's first night on the prowl since the bet. Okay, so now they get to meet. Jesse and Vivian are there to network and find clients for their interior design business, while Aiden McTiernan and Matt are there to look for hot chicks. I think they're really there because the artist is one of their clients where they work, but that's a moot point. Matt is the first to spot the ladies, and he has some excellent pickup lines.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Do you know the artist?
I can't say that I do.
He's actually a client at the trading firm I work for. I could introduce you. It's weird. First, I should introduce myself. I'm Matt. Matt Harper.
Jesse.
Jesse. Nice. Did you, come here with anyone?
I came here with my sister.
Family girl. Like that.
Vivian butts in and really spooks Matt off, but not until after he learns that Jesse has just gotten out of an engagement. So he goes back to Aiden and tells him he should choose Jesse as the girl for the bet, assuming that she's not even going to say yes to a date with the guy, much less an engagement, and he'll win pretty easily. He points out Jesse just as she's being a quirky girl, destroying pretentious art. So now it's Aiden's turn to bring his A-game, lay the moves on Jesse. What has he got?
I hate wearing heels at these things.
I'm sorry?
Just the walk from the car kills my calves.
Oh. I bet you look great in stilettos.
Seriously though, whoever said women look better in heels was way off. Kicks, now that's hot.
Yeah, well, somehow I doubt kicks with this dress would be very hot.
You would be the envy of every woman in this room if you wore kicks with that dress.
There would be no one as hot as you if you had a sweet pair of kicks on with that dress. I feel like the writer recently learned that kicks was a slang term for sneakers and was just like, oh, hell yeah. This is gonna be the best freaking pickup line I've ever seen.
Hey, you wanna grab a coffee?
No.
She did it. She fucking did it. She finally said no to someone asking her out on a date. I bet Vivian is going to be so proud.
Thought maybe we could go over some ideas.
No.
No.
Yes.
Huh?
Jesse would be thrilled to give you a consultation.
Great. Saturday, 10:30?
Saturday's
busy.
perfect.
Ah, okay. So she heard the end of the conversation where the man was backpedaling after being rejected by the woman. A classic maneuver done to massage his ego. And she took that as what the whole conversation was about. So now she's going to get Jesse to spend some alone time and get familiar with someone who's clearly showing romantic interest. Got it. So Jesse goes over for her consultation with Aiden. He has an elevator at his place, which is neat.
Elevator into the place, huh?
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah, well, this is pretty much how the place was when I moved in. I brought the chair, the TV, bed, and poker table.
Oh, so the punching bag and self-gratification mirror just came with the place? He also says that he's from Oakland. Sure. Aiden keeps trying to turn this into a date, and Jesse keeps shutting him down, and it's very fun to watch.
So what do you think?
About what?
About redecorating. The first thing we're gonna do is personalize your space.
Does that mean you need to get to know me better? Because we can go for a glass of wine and I'll tell you everything you need to know.
Color.
What?
Do you prefer a blue tone, a red, a neutral?
And while she's giving him some swatches, because who doesn't love a good swatch, she fucking flings the engagement ring out of her bag. Aiden says he's sorry the way only someone from Oakland could.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you were married.
I'm not.
engaged.
It wasn't.
Or whatever.
I never was.
They're both a little frazzled after this. Her because she's just felt like her personal life was exposed to a near stranger. And him because the girl he's gonna have to propose to in just 4 weeks clearly has some other romantic entanglement that has turned south. And he's pissed.
What?
Jesse and Vivian are working when Aiden stops by. Hey, I'm Aiden. McTiernan. And they're going to go look at some pieces for his apartment in the afternoon when, Mike stops by. He does the old parent knock where he knocks on the door, but before anyone could even look at the door, he's already let himself in. So instead of having an awkward conversation with Mike over lunch, Jessie decides that she's gonna take Aiden to look at some furniture now. Just as a matter of principle, I don't trust any place that writes the word design in fucking papyrus.
I myself love an extra long couch. It gives me plenty of room to lay down, relax, do whatever, you know.
Oh! Does she mean have sex? I guess Jessie's starting to come around to old Mackie T's over here.
Pretend you're watching a movie.
Okay.
Let me guess. We're watching a romance.
Horror film, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
What? A horror movie? But she's a woman! I gotta call the poker guy. She's not like the other girls. Holy shit, she's so quirky. So they poorly flirt a little more, and then they end up at a very fancy restaurant, drinking wine, and if you look closely, you'll see there's a piano in the frame. No reason.
Corny as it may sound, I've always had a soft spot for Christmas carols. Is that funny to you?
No, it's not.
Seeing Aiden play that piano just gets Jessie so fucking wet. And now we get to meet ex-fiance number 2.
Owen. Hi.
Hi.
Wow.
Wow. Funny bumping into you here.
Hysterical.
Okay, good. So, forecast is calling for a 90% chance at dinner.
You got it.
All right. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Great work.
Yeah, he's a weatherman, so naturally Aiden's pretty jealous.
Who's that?
Oh, that was Owen, one of my fiancés. He's married now to this lovely woman named Sandy.
Another fiance.
Mm-hmm.
How many have you had?
3, Owen, Trent, and Mike.
his name's Owen, and I just don't feel like Owen is a very good weatherman name. You know, Fritz Coleman, Al Roker, Dallas Raines, Amy Freeze, all great weather people, all great names. And I just feel like if Owen is his first name, that last name has got to be doing a lot of heavy lifting. Anyway, the two have a drink. Aiden offers Jessie a ride home. She refuses, and they go their separate ways. We're back at Aiden's apartment, where Aiden is working his hardest to stay in the way of all the delivery people.
Do you have any family portraits? Brothers, sisters?
You're looking at an only child.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But the lamps didn't make it with the rest of the delivery. I guess the two of them are gonna have to wait around at this apartment that only really has one couch to sit at. Bummer.
Well, look, if you don't have to do anything, I don't have to go anywhere either. I can get some takeout and we can wait till they come. What do you like? Do you like sushi, Thai?
I could go for a burger.
A burger? Made of meat? What? Holy shit-a-moly. This girl is built different. She likes burgers, man. She's like a whole new breed of woman I've never even seen before. So they eat burgers and watch a horror film.
What about a piano in the corner?
Well, I don't really play.
Oh, please. Yes, you do. I heard you the other night. Great.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
My mom and I used to play carols every Christmas. At least until the divorce.
Oh, okay, so he's an only child of divorce. That really makes sense. And the delivery guy who brings the lamps spooks the shit out of them.
Oh.
Run. Lamps.
Or to put it a different way...
It was so funny because we're sitting there watching a scary movie and the delivery guy comes in and scares the pants off us.
Aiden says to the guys, sounding very cool.
This girl, she likes burgers, guys. Not Thai, not sushi, burgers and fries.
See? He gets it. Why is no one else freaking out? This is a woman with boobs and she likes hamburgers. How is the room not literally on fire?
Sounds like you two might be perfect for each other.
Exactly. Marriages are built off of a mutual interest in spooky movies and hamburgers. I do not see anything that could ever go wrong here.
All right, buddy. Just remember, you got 3 weeks left to make it happen.
So, the movie we've seen so far, all that happened in 1 week. There's no way they're not getting married by National Ding-a-Ling Day. And now Jesse's at the dog shelter, so Aiden's at the dog shelter. I understand the mere exposure effect and how if you want to date someone, you've got to make sure that you make room for them in your life and that you try and put yourself into theirs. But if someone I had never met became someone I saw every single day for a week and a half, I would file a fucking restraining order. Also, how the fuck do they have so much free time? I mean, I understand Jessie. Aiden seems to be her only client who isn't a family member. But Aiden works a 9 to 5. How does he have time for all these midday errands? So now Aiden volunteers at the dog shelter too. And they take the dogs for a walk and Mike shows up.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about setting another date.
A date?
Look, I can understand if you don't want to do the whole ceremony thing again. We can skip that. Maybe just go to City Hall or something.
Dude, it is over. You're not gonna marry this woman. And that sucks. But you gotta move on.
Listen,
Think of how happy this will make your mother.
Okay, now that's a real piece of shit move. Hey, babe. There's something I need to ask you. I know I'm not perfect. And I know I've been hitting on your sister over the holidays, and I know you don't even really like me. But will you make your mother the happiest woman alive and marry me? The dog gets away from Aiden and somehow manages to take out 6'5" Mike with a little push.
Yeah, good boy. Good boy.
Yeah, you kick her ex's ass. That night, it's game night at the Patterson house, but Vivian has a date, so it looks like it's just gonna be Jessie and her parent. Why is Aiden here?
Hey! I just wanted to let you know there's a bunch of guys in hazmat suits and masks at my condo. I don't know if I should pull out the boxing gloves and start defending myself or what.
I forgot to tell you that I'm having your floors refinished, so you're gonna love it. It's just you can't walk in your apartment for about 6 hours.
Okay. Can't go to his apartment for 6 hours. It's 7 or 8 o'clock. He can't go in until probably 2 in the morning. Sounds like a very good plan.
I was actually headed to my parents for game night.
Game night?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Do you want to come?
Before I go any further, I just have to tell you that I play cards with my friends once a week. And I'm pretty good.
So you guessed it, Aiden is going over to her parents' house for their game night. The parents make a big deal of Jessie bringing a boy over. Aiden and the mom talk about the glass bottom method.
Is there any other way?
Her dad talks about the first time he ate her cookie.
The first time I tasted Susie's cookies, I knew I had to marry her.
Oh, cookies. Got it. They sit around the piano to play more Christmas carols.
Noel, 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 Noel. Born is the King of Israel.
Thank God Mike shows up to shut them up. Things are tense, and they play poker. And as with anything else that involves a woman, the men turn into dick-measuring Neanderthals.
I'm all in.
I raise.
Mike, you don't have enough chips there.
Are you serious? You gonna bet your van? It's a nice van, but I don't need any plumbing supplies.
It's not my van, it's my 57 Chevy. You in or not?
I raise. And then he cuts his own dick off, and he slaps it on the table, and whoever wins the hand gets to sew the two dicks together to make a 4-inch mega dick. And then Mike actually takes Aiden's car.
I'll come back tomorrow for my Chevy.
The next day, Aiden goes to Matt to call off the bet because he actually has feelings for Jessie.
I kind of get why those other guys proposed to her.
Whoa, hold on. Are you saying that you actually do want to marry this girl?
What I'm saying is the bet is off.
Then at the dog shelter, a dad is bringing a dog back because it's just too much for him and his kids to handle. And Aiden lectures the guy.
You know, you're breaking their hearts.
What?
Your kids. I'm sure they don't care Jake stays up all night or won't stay or sit. They just want a dog.
Hey, man, don't talk to me about my kids, okay?
Well, it's not just about your kids. Poor Jake here thought he was getting out of his cage.
That's not my problem.
It's not your problem. You adopted him. You know, we got pamphlets here if you want to read. You know, we have a...
And Jessie is just so turned on by Aiden's pamphlet talk that she just has to...
Dad?
After the kiss, she walks into her house all depressed because she kissed someone she cares about.
It happened.
What?
The fireworks, no, it wasn't like an explosion. It was like this crazy dream sequence.
Jessie knows Aiden is the one, but due to her consistent results, she doesn't want to risk an engagement with him. So she decides she's gonna propose to him instead. Or rather, her sister says she should. She says, no, I can't. And Vivian goes, yeah, you could. And then she decides she's gonna do it. She makes a really shitty version of his photo of him and his dog, and she decorates Aiden's apartment for Christmas, and then she proposes.
I'll take care of it now and we can be all squared up.
Marry me. Aiden McTiernan. Will you marry me?
I told you it's tough to say with no accent. And he says,
yes, I will marry you.
And that's how Jessie became a bride for Christmas. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. What was that? There's still 20 minutes left of the movie. And it's not because there's an elaborate dance number at the wedding. It's because Mike overhears Aiden telling the guys that he's engaged, and then the guys are like, oh, so you won the bet. And then Mike tells Jessie about the bet, and Jessie calls the whole thing off. Well, that's disappointing. So now that the wedding has been called off, she goes to Mike and tells him that she called it off, and she also gives him the engagement ring back. Clean slate. She's ready to be a single woman, come what may. Meanwhile, Aiden is at the holiday party, fucking devastated. Plain ruffles are a pretty sad chip if you've got nothing to dip them into.
Me and the guys have been talking about forming a band this year. Yeah, like just jamming on weekends, whatever. Maybe play a gig, I don't know. It's sort of like a freestyle rap reggae.
I hate Matt. Matt sucks. But Jesse's mom rolls up, finds Aiden, and tells him,
I saw the way you looked at Jesse the other night, and believe me, after 3 engagements, my radar is pretty astute. Now, do you really want to marry Jesse?
Yes, of course I do.
Well, great! Then let's plan a wedding.
How? Jessie just won't have anything to do with me, and I don't blame her.
The bet? Did you win it?
No. Once I realized how much I cared for her, I called it off.
What's the best way that you can show Jesse that you meant it when you said yes, and the bet meant nothing at all? Marry her.
oh! Why didn't I think of that? When your partner gets upset because you and the boys made a bet, engages you, then calls it off, don't sit and cry or pout or scoff. For unmade marriages, there's just one cure. Find that girl and marry her. T.S. Eliot. Jesse and Vivian roll up to their parents' house for Christmas, and their dad is looking sharp. Dude could cut diamonds, god damn! And the Reverend is here, looking guilty as sin, and no one talks for way too long.
Mom? What's going on? Dad? Okay, if this is some sort of weird intervention...
Jesse.
Aiden busts out looking clean. Not as clean as Pops over here, but he's looking good. And he tells Jesse he loves her and asks her to marry him.
Jesse Patterson. Will you marry me?
Yes.
You just said yes.
Yes, she said yes.
Yes, that you'll marry me.
Yes. I will marry you.
Which means for real this time, she gets to be a bride for Christmas. Because the pastor's there to make sure they get married like 18 seconds after she's engaged so she can't run away this time. And all of Aiden's friends are there. It's quite the happy ending. I think that this movie proves that even if all of your characters are kind of unlikable, if you slap Christmas time and a love story on top of it, the Hallmark Channel will produce it. Aiden has no sense of boundaries and is stalking Jesse to win a bet. Mike just doesn't understand that relationships involve 2 people committing to each other. Matt is just fucking Matt.
It's sort of like a freestyle rap reggae.
But because the movie ends with a white couple saying Merry Christmas, it's all okay.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, my husband.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you'd leave a like or a comment or subscribe or any other stuff that makes the algorithm happy, I'd really appreciate it. I would. I would appreciate it. It's not a lie. And if you don't do any of those things, then I'm gonna leave poop in your stocking. How about that, huh? This is a threat. This was fun. This was a good way to end the year. Again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I get to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.